Hello and welcome to the Ilkeston Town YouTube channel. Normally I would say to my left or to my right, but normally I would say to my left or to my right. But on my screen I have Mark Duffy and manager Martin Carruthers, who has recently extended his contract to be manager at the club. Uh, Firstly, going into last season, Martin, how did you think it went?
I thought it went really well, despite a rocky pre-season. A new group of players, some very good players. We always knew it would take them time to gel and come together. And with lots of limitations in terms of the lockdown, training facilities, availability of players to train, injuries, suspensions. The start to the season was unreal. It was a tough start on paper. To go away to Cleethorpes and win the first game, and then get a well-earned draw against much fancied Stamford. Really set us up nicely, and the players were full of confidence, and this was without us really playing at full potential. If I'm honest, we was grinding out results, certainly in the cup games, which was a massive boost to everybody, the fans, the local community, the whole of Nottingham to reach the giddy heights that we did ultimately, was fantastic for everyone. And it was just that, the momentum of winning, getting into good habits, and it was just, it was kind of surreal with everything that was going on with the stop-start, the isolating players, worrying about whether the game was going to get played or not. The TV cameras, the Elf Church game leading up to it, the atmosphere at that game. It was just all really special, and it just highlighted to me, what a special football club, this is, and actually, how exciting the future can be and how far we can actually take it.
I think normally when I interview Martin, we've got football to talk about actually, and maybe the game just gone or the match coming up, but there's been nothing, is there? Nothing at all. I mean, from your point of view as someone who's obviously involved pretty much solely on the playing side, how's it been? Because you've not known how long you're going to have to wait before you come back. You've not known what's going on as the rest of us haven't, from one month to the next. From your point of view, how's it been since November, which is when you last played?
If I'm completely honest, it was really difficult. But what we did was we got ourselves a decent training facility. We was working the lads hard, even before we was allowed to train again. We was putting on Zoom sessions, keeping them fit, keeping them tick over, keeping us together. And then when we finally could train and play some games, we got into a really good place, which was even more frustrating. So, we had the opportunity, myself, Kelvin and Wayne, to really work on, the formation, the shape, the out of possession stuff, with the old units. And, we did some really, really good stuff. And the games that we played, we learned a lot. And then, ultimately, the final game we played against Gainsborough, it was probably one of our best performances of the season. And, we left that game thinking, please let the season start. We'll beat anybody with a match or anybody, just with a couple of additions in midfield. We got a lad on, Keaton Ward, on loan from Barnsley. We got Jake Wright back, who had work issues early in the season. And, we looked a really, really good outfit, not only in possession, but out of possession. And for me, that was personified how we want our teams to play. And, if we get our training right and we've got the right facilities and everybody can attend training, then, we're going to be a real force to be reckoned with. And like you say, the disappointing thing was that, we couldn't get any more games underway. And we couldn't really show, what this team, is really capable of, because, despite a good start, we had a couple of defeats, and I'll put my hand on my heart and say that was sort of down to injuries and suspensions and things like that. But, I think a full strength side, even with the current squad, we've been able to beat the Stamfords and the League Towns, once, we'd got our training and now set up exactly how we wanted it.
And I suppose the big question is, we were perhaps talking a minute about when it might be that you will actually play again, but whenever that might be, how ready do you think any of this you've had put into practice in the last X amount of months, will be ready to go straight away, or do you think it's going to take a certain period of time to get everything? Jenny, obviously, it will take a bit of time to get back into kind of rhythm, but are you hoping that all this good stuff you've talked about won't be going to waste, essentially?
To be honest, with footballers, it only takes 3 to 4 weeks to be forgotten and gone anyway. Certainly in terms of fitness. So I speak to a lot of people in football, a lot of non-league managers, and we're of the same opinion that realistically, if they were to turn around next week and say that we can potentially resume in March, then it's going to take 3-4 weeks for players to get fit, to play pre-season games. Then you're going into April. So me personally, it's nigh impossible to finish this league. I think it's going to get expunged yet again. But I'm prepared for that. I think the players are prepared for that. I think most people in non-league are prepared for that. And we have to be positive and say, let's plan for next season. It's still going to be exciting. The rates are falling dramatically now. So I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccine's out now. So, let's, ease the restrictions at a sensible rate. Start getting, lads playing and training again. Let's build them up slowly, before what the end of the season would be. So at least we can have some contact and some football, give them a little break, have an extended pre-season, and then, hit the ground running. But realistically, I think, although I'd love for us to restart, I don't think it's going to restart. I don't think it would be sensible to restart. I doubt we'd be able to finish the fixtures without putting huge pressure on the clubs and, the players' bodies and injuries and their own, mental capabilities. So I think the sensible thing would be to do, is call it a day. Everybody knows where we stand, and then, gradually build the players' fitness up and the match game practice so that everybody has a fair amount of time to have a good pre-season and prepare properly for a hopefully an uninterrupted season, and we can all get back to normality.
Have you been able to delegate any kind of fitness regimes? I mean, presumably they're not all going to come back weighing 20 stone whenever it is you do come back. I mean, are they quite disciplined themselves, or have you had to sort of lay down the law to them in the sense that, look, be ready for whenever it might be you come back, because we don't want you to come back completely unfit? I mean, as you might normally do in a normal pre-season.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, leading up to Christmas from the initial break, we was on their case about attending the Zoom sessions, doing their own stuff with our S&C guy, Joe Brothwell. I'm a fitness freak myself, and it's been no excuse for me. My body's the best it's been probably since I was 17, 18. So I'm training 5 times a week. Not all the players have got that mentality. It's easier for some than others. They haven't got that self-discipline. But all my players know that have worked with me in the past, there's some kind of expectancy to be at a certain level, not to be overweight, and it's something that's going to be discussed this week, looking at the players to get back to some kind of shape for when we do return, because like you say, from Monday when he makes the announcement and maps the plan out for easing of lockdown, once we know we have a clearer idea of when we're going to start being able to train and play again, then they'll have a program put together for them that, they can maintain that, so that when they get back, they're at a certain level of weight and body fat that we know, is the norm for this type of football.
Sounds like you're in good enough shape to start yourself, Martin, at the moment. You ain't going to say.
To be honest, I'm going to have to consider signing for next season, because I feel amazing and my fitness levels are unbelievable. So I've always been a keep fit fanatic, but I like to lead by example. So hopefully once we start training again and the lads see me doing a bit of running and beating a few of them, then I'm sure it'll give a few a kick up the backside.
This might be hard to answer now because of where we're at, but in terms of the squad you've had and the squad you hopefully will have when you come back, I mean, do you think a lot needs to happen to it? Do you think you might have to make a few changes here and there? Or is it really something you can't answer really until we get some indication as to what's happening?
I have an idea of how I want it to look, and in all honesty, with what we've got at the minute, you know, when I brought in a whole group of new players, we knew they'd take time to settle. You know, it certainly, the start of the season certainly didn't reflect that. I thought it would take us more time to bed in. After looking at the Gainsborough game, you know, I didn't think we were far away from being a top 3 side. So, you know, I don't like to make drastic changes. You know, if to be successful, you know, you look at your Leeds, your Stanfords, you know, they've got the same teams and players, and they were top of the league again. So, you know, ideally 2-3 maximum changes to help bolster us. A lot's going to depend on some of the players' mentalities. Some of them might not want to come back. It might be too risky for them. Some might want to move on. We don't know that, but I'd like to think that, you know, if we can keep to 90-95% of that squad together, then, you know, just 2 or 3 max new additions in certain areas, then, you know, we're going to be a major force this season. Just
on a personal level, obviously, new contract signed for you, 2 years. I mean, do we put that into the no-brainer category, to coin a cliche? Or, I mean, was it obviously something that you wanted to commit to?
Yeah, certainly, and even before the latest lockdown, you know, I was keen to get us tied into a new deal. You know, it's an amazing football club, and, you know, I can't thank Mark, and Dave and Andrew, you know, enough for the support and backing they've gave me. And, you know, I think this just cements it now. You know, it gives me the confidence knowing that I can go into this new season with a good squad of players. You know, they've backed me from above. You know, they've given me everything in their power to help me be successful and drive the club forwards. And that's the only ambition now. And, you know, it's a clear statement of intent from the football club that, you know, we're the team to drive them forward and get them promotion and get the club back up where it belongs.
And just finally for me, I mean, obviously there have been things going on behind the scenes whilst there's been no football, at least, including obviously the launch of the foundation in the last couple of weeks as well. And I know infrastructure-wise around the ground continues to be, even though there isn't any football, an exciting time for the club, isn't it? Yeah,
it's huge. And, you know, the new announcement with the foundation, I've known about the work that's been going off, you know, with that in the background, it's huge. And, you know, for this to be a successful club, you know, it's got to be part of the community, and a special part of the community. And you know, just to start off with the aspects of the mental health with everything that's going on now is critical, you know, to everybody, you know, not just the football club, but the local community, the young, the old. We've all been badly affected by everything that's been going on. And, you know, to form this foundation now, you know, we'll set the club up for years to come. And, you know, I work at the Notts County Foundation, and the sort of projects we work on: dementia, mental health, you know, disability, education projects, primary school projects, healthy hearts. There's so much, you know, that you can provide and offer to the community. And like you say, once they start coming in and seeing the facilities, you open to build the support base along the way as well. So this is just the start, and, you know, this is going to be huge for the local community for years to come.
Great. Well, here's hoping we've got some football to enjoy as well.
Yes, definitely so, yeah.